Joining us now live is Dr. Bhoendradatt Tewarie from Canoopia, a town in Trinidad and Tobago, a parliamentarian of 15 years. He served 2 terms as Member of Parliament and 1 term in the Senate. He was Minister of Industry, Enterprise and Tourism, and also Minister of Planning and Sustainable Development in Trinidad and Tobago. You will ask him about his expectations from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's second port of call, Trinidad and Tobago, during his ongoing 5-nation visit. Dr. Tewarie, welcome to DD India.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Pleasure.
And that was a nice sentiment expressed by your Prime Minister.
Absolutely. We'll take that forward. As someone who is a 4th-generation Indian in Trinidad and Tobago, a person of Indian origin, what does the first bilateral visit in 25 years of an Indian Prime Minister to Trinidad and Tobago mean to you?
Well, it's a very propitious moment in history because, first of all, India as a country is on a surge forward and upward in economic terms, in geopolitical terms, in technical and technological terms. Secondly, the world is going through a major change with the shift in presidency in the United States with President Donald Trump. And that has implications for the global order and system. And it has implications for the Western Hemisphere, where Trinidad is located together with all the countries of the Caribbean and Latin America. And I think this particular visit, where President Modi is visiting Ghana, then Trinidad and Tobago, and then Brazil, I think it is very significant because it ties India, which is the country that started the decolonization process in the world, to Ghana, which is the first country to gain independence from the British in Africa, to Trinidad and Tobago, which is a small island state in an energy-rich region, together with Brazil, which is perhaps the most formidable country in South America and in the southern part of the Western Hemisphere. So I think it's very significant. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we look forward to discussion that will lead to fruit in technology, in artificial intelligence, in digital transformation, in investment in Trinidad and Tobago using the hemisphere as a market. Those are things that we can benefit from, and India and Indian companies can benefit from greatly as well.
So it looks like a win-win partnership going forward. Dr. Tewarie, the visit of PM Modi comes at an opportune time as this year, that is in 2025, Trinidad and Tobago is commemorating 180 years of the arrival of Indian immigrants to Trinidad and Tobago. So this shared history forms the bedrock of our close and enduring people-to-people ties. Will this visit of PM Modi provide then an opportunity to rejuvenate the special bonds of ancestry and kinship that unite us?
I think it should. 180 years means that we have 4, sometimes 5 generations of Indians who came during the indenture period to Trinidad and Tobago. And we are part of a significant civilization in the world that is even now, as we speak, growing in global influence. And I think those ties are very, very important. And I mentioned some of the trade, economic, and developmental things that we could do, technological things we can do. But the people-to-people relationship is very important. India has perhaps the largest diaspora of people in the Caribbean of any big developing and industrializing country in the world. And that is something to be proud of. for India, but it is also something for people in Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, Jamaica, Grenada, all of these countries in which people of Indian ancestry live to also be proud of. And we look forward to this time, not only to strengthen relations, people to people, and country to country, and region to country, but also to make some gains as developing countries together, with India playing a leadership role among the developing world.
Dr. Tewarie, taking that point that you made forward, it's notable that Trinidad and Tobago is home to one of the largest Indian diaspora in the region. In fact, the Indian origin community there comprises 40 to 45% of its population. And currently, both the president and the prime minister are of Indian origin. Incidentally, both are women, both are lawyers, and both have a deep sense of pride in their Indian roots and heritage. And they also describe themselves as daughters of India. So is the vibrant Indian community, all those like you of Indian ancestry, really looking forward to welcoming PM Modi?
Yes, I will be at the event later today, and I am sure thousands will also be there. And it will be a moment of pride and a moment of appreciation and a moment of respect as well, because Prime Minister Modi has won the respect of the world by the manner in which he has conducted himself globally and geopolitically. And we value that friendship and that brotherhood with India. Trinidad and Tobago is a very diverse country. Besides Indians, we have all races who live here, including people from the African continent who are descendants, as we are, now settled in Trinidad for 4, 5, 6 generations. So, and we have all manner of people from the Middle East, from Europe, from the Americas in this country. So we also celebrate our Indianness, our Indian civilization, but we also celebrate diversity. We have a lot of respect for diversity and multiracial and tolerance and existence with each other. And we look forward to a better world. And we see no better place to start than with good relations with India as a beginning, and connecting with India, the African continent, South America, Latin America. Those are good things, I think, and creating opportunities for the developing world.
Absolutely. Dr. Tewarie, tell us about your meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi here in India. What are your impressions of him?
Oh, I have very fond feelings about my meeting with him. It was very brief. I had just published a book on sustainable development at that time, and I gave it to him. And we talked for just a minute or so. It was during a time when a number of parliamentarians attended India, went to India for a diaspora conference. And I had the opportunity also to meet parliamentarians from other parts of the world, including people who became government in the conservative government of the United Kingdom later on. And it was a precious time and a precious moment. But one thing I remember from Prime Minister Modi's speech was the extent to which he expressed pride in the civilization which India had given to the world, and which connected people in the diaspora.
Right.
And the other thing that I remember clearly was his vision for an India of progress and scientific and technological achievement. And I think those remain memorable things about Prime Minister Modi for me.
So fond memories you have of your meeting with Prime Minister here in India. In a special gesture, PM Modi will also address the joint session of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Will it be a symbolic move as far as strong parliamentary traditions of India as well as Trinidad and Tobago are concerned. They share democratic values because Trinidad and Tobago too has always had a very peaceful transition of power, much like India.
Yes, well, India is the largest democracy. We must never forget that. And it has continued to be a democratic nation in spite of difficulties from time to time, as every country goes through. But the chair of the Speaker in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago was given to the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago many years ago. I don't remember what year. It may have been during the year in which we gained independence, which was 1962, or it may have been when we became a republic in 1976. But that chair sits there and is the Speaker's chair in the House of Representatives. So Prime Minister Modi speaking in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago to both houses is not only symbolic, it is also very historic. And it simply confirms the deep friendship and the deep ties and the ancestral connections and the historical linkages with a country from which many of our people come, and a country that led the decolonization process by gaining independence from the British in 1947.
Right. Towards the end, Dr. Tewarie, India, we know, has always championed the cause of human-centric development of fellow developing countries, and Trinidad and Tobago is a very important player in CARICOM as well as in SIDS, which is the Small Island Developing States, which form a collective authoritative voice on climate change issues, an issue you are also quite vocal on. Is India living up to its commitment of espousing the cause of Global South, but taking up in the global fora and regional fora, all forums possible, issues that matter to the developing world?
I think so. And India is quite bold on the one hand, and I think quite judicious on the other, because it's a very tight rope to walk. Because India has a development challenge. She wants to develop as fast as possible. Developing countries want to develop as fast as possible and as well as possible. But the whole planet is faced with this challenge of sustainability. And although some people think that we can perhaps move to another planet if we have a crisis in this one, I think it would be better for countries to work together to get the world system and to get this planet Earth, which we think of from the tradition that we come from as Mother Earth, to get it to the point of sustainability so that we can all live well here. So the challenge of industrial development on the one hand, and the challenge of sustainability on the other, is always something that is likely to clash. Right. But I think India is playing an important role, and playing an important role in the development in the developing world. And I think she's playing a leadership role. And we would be happy to work with India, I think, as an island state, as a small island state, as you mentioned, on sustainable development strategies, especially for small states and island states.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Dr. Tewarie, and all the very best to you for your meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Trinidad and Tobago.